I know it's not. Next time, we'll save it.
Don't steal my intro.
And with that, welcome to Almost a Podcast. This is your host, Mike, with my boys, Sean and Colton.
Hey.
God. What was that? You want to blow out everyone's eardrums?
Adding more energy. We always do the meme intros, but we are consistently always like, I wonder, everyone's going to think it's like the normal intro. We're always doing like, welcome to
I mean, at this point, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is how we
I feel
do
I'm
it.
the only one that has a normal intro nowadays.
Yeah.
Because it's fun.
It is fun. It's
You
fun
get
to like,
practice the radio announcer voice.
yeah, it's like the one time we do it. Unless we
Is
do
that
more
what
snaps.
that is?
Unless we do more
No,
snaps.
that was I don't even know what that voice was. I was just pulling out of my ass.
This is 128 gigs right here. You see this?
And what's on
Yours,
it?
it's like the size of your fingernail. That's 128 gigs.
It's a micro SD.
Dude, they make,
that's
they make
micro
terabyte
SD.
ones of those now.
Yeah, they do.
And it's all
crazy.
porn on there, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Actually, I was doing when I moved in, I was doing like a recording of like when I got certain things, or like, oh hey, the couch is here, or like the TV set up, just to like document it.
That's actually really nice.
I thought this was going to lead into the porn discussion, and I was like, I wonder where this is going to go. I was like, it did go where I thought it was going to go.
I was just being a dick. No. Yeah. So,
Man, that's all in the episode too. Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was a strange intro.
welcome to Almost a Podcast.
Yeah.
I have my philosophizing drink ready.
What is that?
What is
whiskey?
that?
This is Bullet.
Bullet whiskey.
Bullet,
Damn, son.
Bullet
With a
whiskey.
giant whiskey
Bullet
cube.
bourbon, actually, I'm pretty sure. So, got a
Is it-
couple fingers
is it
here,
rye?
and I'm ready to tell. What now?
Is it rye?
I'm pretty sure it's bourbon.
Okay.
Bourbon. Yeah, I'm
I
just
couldn't say.
drinking
I
some
just
rye.
I just have it. I mean, it's
You just have some bullet on hand. Gotta have like your special
bourbon?
like
It's
stock
how you get
shelf
the
of-
it's how you get the brain
Well,
cells.
my parents left
functioning.
it for me here when they moved me in. So, it's a whiskey. Okay, it's a
That's really
Kentucky
nice of them.
whiskey. Yeah. So occasionally I'll break it out if there's
There's a
occasion to.
requirement.
Yeah. and you get the pretentious
there's
ice
not
cube
been many
in there
occasions
too.
too. So
Apparently,
it's
our
kinda
discussion
like
today
doing
is
that.
a good occasion to do it. So your brain cells
Yeah,
better be
make sure you get,
firing.
like, the-
This is going to be
Look at that circle ice cube in there.
yeah. It's very pretentious.
It
But
is.
you need to. I can't. Woo.
Sean's just like swirling his drink around, like
Yeah.
pinky up and shit.
Ooh, that's strong stuff. But it's gonna help me philosophize.
We're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna speak philosophically today.
I'm messing up the word on purpose, but also not.
Yeah. No, I kind of did want to continue our discussion that we had last episode. If just kind of as a recap for all the new viewers, is we were talking a lot about like we got some deep thoughts. I mean, like real deep thoughts about like existential. What was it?
Mind cloning,
Mind
and
cloning,
Yeah.
uploading
downloading
your consciousness to a
Yep.
computer.
Immortality through downloading and uploading
The machine.
consciousness, the machine, the Matrix.
Machine-based immortality.
Yeah.
Hard-hitting questions
Yeah,
such as these.
very
How will we
good.
ponder them going forward?
We'll
Yeah.
almost ponder
I just
them
can't
well.
wait. I just can't wait for this conversation to devolve into us talking about random crap again.
It'll be like,
feel like it
yeah,
already
like I
has.
wonder if we'll have bidets in the simulation universe. Like,
In the simulation, you won't need a
We
bidet
won't
in the
need one.
simulation. Why
What-
would you simulate going to the bathroom?
you think, but like, isn't it
what
kind of
if
nice
we
to go to the
are the s-
bathroom in the sim? I don't know. This is going to devolve pretty fast. We're like devolving
Yeah.
in the first couple seconds here.
But
We've done it before we started.
Would
Yeah.
it feel weird to not go to the bathroom though?
I don't know if it would feel not weird.
Yeah.
Wait.
It just
Is
would
Because,
be
like-
like not ever going to the bathroom. Like,
Yeah. Well, you guys have heard like the simulation argument, right? Where we're right
Yes,
now
that we are
living
in a
inside a
simulation.
simulation already.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's hypothesized. I've
Yeah.
heard
That's
of
a
it.
fact. But all right.
That you got like a big old, essentially, computer the size of a planet that is just modeling our environment to, an extreme
I'm
detail.
pretty sure that was the plot of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I think it was.
Was
They
it?
built
I-
a
I
computer
think so.
program to simulate the answer to the universe, life, and everything, and it was Earth. Earth was the
Earth.
was the computer.
It was something like that. Something
Entire planet.
Something odd like that. Yeah.
I thought the answer was 42.
Well, that's the answer, but not the meaning.
Oh. God, if
You gotta
the
get
road
up
to
on
get
your
Earth was
on your
the
knowledge.
meaning of the universe,
Well, Earth was built to figure it out.
Wow, we are the center of the universe then. If 42 is the answer of the universe and Earth was built to figure it out, then that's like we are the center of the universe then.
I don't know. I feel like there's too many problems on Earth to figure.
I thought you guys would have seen this movie.
No.
enough to know this.
I've
Am
seen
I
it
just a bigger
once.
nerd?
I need to now.
Yeah, you should.
It's a great movie. I watched it like a couple weeks ago. Again,
Like the
Preparing, I
15th
see.
time.
Oh, okay.
I've probably seen that movie maybe 6 to 8ish times.
As many times as SAO.
Well, in terms of total watch time, SAO is higher, but in
Oh,
terms
yeah.
of like rewatches, probably Hitchhikers is more.
Yeah.
Dang.
Movie's a little bit
Yeah.
easier to digest. Anyways, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
We're diverting.
Yeah. Going on a tangent as usual. No. Yeah. So have you ever like pondered that at all? I don't know. Sometimes
Pondered
if
what?
you just like sit back or sitting in the shower as you do.
The simulation thing.
Yeah.
I feel like
I've never thought to think of this to be like. I'm going to cut you off, Colton. I've never thought about the simulation as being a plausible theory. Because if it is, it doesn't matter. Like there's other things you could spend your time thinking about. If that makes sense.
yeah, it's like if you're already in it, there's no point in pondering it. It's your life, so you might as well just live your life. Like
Yeah. Because it doesn't matter to you, or it doesn't matter in the long run if it's a simulation or not.
Yeah, I mean, the only time it would matter was it be if I cared, if it was, but I
Yeah.
don't, because that's actually kind of deep, or can be kind of deep, because it's like if you're someone who thinks that your life having meaning needs to be real in the sense of not being a computer program, then yes, it would matter to you. But I would argue that it doesn't, that doesn't matter. You can still have meaning even if it's not quote unquote real, because what you experience is real.
I agree.
you.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like I put a lot of like weight on the meaning of life and like just happiness, and that doesn't matter if you're in a simulation or not. I feel like if you're happy, then you're doing life well. If you're having good experiences,
Yeah.
Like, let me bring up my greatest source of philosophical knowledge, which is Sword Art Online. Now,
I don't know about this.
Sean just does this to piss me off. That's
the
literally
whole
all he
point
does.
Kirito was trying to make was, it doesn't matter that we're in a video game because we're still experiencing days. Like, we're not losing days; we're just having them here, in a sense. Which is the whole point. I mean, like, if you're in a simulation or a game or what have you, you're still experiencing experiences, and therefore they have meaning. If you're trying to argue that because it's a simulation or game that has no meaning, then really you're just trying to argue that you shouldn't be experiencing anything. And I'm not a big fan of that.
Are you talking like straight up, like a virtual reality game, like Sword Art, or just like
It could be anything.
Any
like we were talking about, like if let's say you become a computer program, are all your days meaningless now?
I don't think so.
Then you would argue that it doesn't matter if we're in a simulation because we, even if it is a computer, then it still has meaning.
To us, yes.
You know what I'm trying to say? So
Then what brings you meaning?
The what brings me meaning?
Yeah.
Experience? I don't know.
Just living life.
Meaning is the intrinsic result of experience. Did that sound deep?
Put that on
Meaning
a
is the
shirt.
intrinsic
Put that on a
result
shirt.
of experience. I bet that's a quote
Okay.
somewhere. I bet someone has said that.
I bet I'm the first.
Everyone said everything ever. You ever actually? There's a website that you can literally type in a sentence, and it's basically. I
Oh, the
think it's
Library of Babylon.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Library of Babel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. That's an amazing thought experiment. Have you heard of this, Colton?
I have not. Please explain.
I think I showed it to you guys at one point, but it's this book, it's this theoretical library that contains all, like, the letters of our alphabet in every conceivable combination. So you could conceivably go to a hallway or a bookshelf and a book in this library, and you would see this exact conversation we're having right now written down.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I see.
And it's all randomly generated. Like, the combination is just randomly generated, but there's only a limit mathematically to how many, combinations of letters can appear, right? So
Yeah.
this entire conversation could be strung out. It's pretty
It's
nuts.
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
Because this library, on this website isn't like just made up on the fly. Like I could search for this conversation, like everything we've been saying, and it would give me the building, shelf, and book that it's in, and that would be consistent with everyone,
Right.
who searches the thing. So it's pretty crazy.
So what you're saying is a computer thought of this conversation before he even thought of it.
Okay, this is the description of the thing. It says the first paragraph of Borges' The Library of Babel offers a minute description of the universe he has doomed his librarians to inhabit, which is why I was shocked to reread the story recently and discover my mental image was completely wrong. He describes a vast architecture of interconnecting hexagons, each with 4 walls of bookshelves and passageways leading to other identical hexagons. I had made the assumption that 6 walls minus 4 walls of bookshelves equals 2 such passageways. I read to my astonishment. 25 bookshelves, 5 to each side, line 4 of the hexagon, 6 sides. The height of the bookshelves, floor to ceiling, is hardly greater than the height of a normal librarian. One of the hexagon's free sides opens onto a narrow sort of vestibule, which in turn opens to another gallery, identical to the first identical in fact to all. So it's like, imagine like a beehive, all right? Mm-hmm. And every interconnected thing has these books, and that's what these lines of text are written in. So if you open a random book, it looks like gibberish.
Yeah.
But then you can start spotting things, and it's fascinating.
Yeah.
So this is
just going to a random page on that.
You said this is a book, or this is like a website that we could go to?
It's a website.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because there's no real way to create.
You have to build this thing the size of a planet.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying this is just like an infinite amount of like randomly generated letters and stuff. Like,
but it would have to be finite. That's the thing.
Well, and not if it goes on. Not if it goes on for infinity, though, right?
I don't know if it is an infinite thing.
I'm pretty sure.
Like, if there's only a certain amount of characters per book, then it would be finite.
Right.
Right.
Because a book can't contain everything.
Right. But you're saying technically you can find a book in the Library of Babylon that contains your life story, I guess, just because it's statistically there, because it has.
Yeah.
You have that many characters, that many potential solutions to certain character combinations. It could equal our conversation.
It's the same concept as like if the universe is an infinite space, right? There's a statistical chance, there's a 100% chance that there's someone out there exactly like you, living the exact same life, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like the multiverse, but same universe, just extremely, extremely far because of statistics.
I just posted a link to the sentence you had just said, Colton.
Oh, yeah. It's probably all just gibberish, right?
Most of it is, until it coalesces into the sentence that we're talking about.
Where is it? I'm trying to find it.
It's in the middle of the page, I think.
Is it? I cannot see it.
So, I mean, I think something like that's fascinating. It also, like, the subject of infinity is, like, one of my favorite subjects ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it'd be the one thing that I truly believe in,
Infinity?
Because most people would not take infinity at its face value. But if you take infinity at its face value, then you don't have much room for argument, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like everything is possible. Maybe it's not here, but at some point, somewhere, sometime, somehow, what someone's saying is possible. Because based on the fact that infinity is infinite, there would be. And I think a lot of people don't quite wrap their heads around that.
Yeah, and also what blows me away too is there's not just one type of infinity. There's, man, this is pulling me back to college, but like there's like, was it n, and then you've got like n to the first, so it's like infinity plus 1. And that's a whole another level of stuff.
It's like a different way to like
infinity
it's
plus
like
1.
a different way to like realize infinity, because it's like, well, okay,
Yeah.
you can be. It's like there can be you, and then there could be infinite versions of you doing different things. But then there's also infinite versions of those people doing infinite things. And then sometimes one of the infinite versions of you and then another version are just doing the exact same thing. Like they have the exact same, like there's infinite versions of repetition too, which is like really interesting.
Yeah, and funny enough, they actually go into this a bit in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, because the way that the ship travels around the universe is via the infinite improbability drive, which squeezes you through the infinite, value of whatever, and you just pop out wherever you're supposed to be, or wherever you want to be, and in theory, if you subscribe to the theory of infinity, something like that actually exists. Or or there could be a button you press that just puts you somewhere else that you want to be. Like that could totally exist. I'm not trying to argue that it would exist here in our universe, in any part of our time, but at some point, in some universe somewhere,
Yeah, and with enough definition, you'd have to give it a lot of definition too, because you could get to that one spot where everything is going the way that you want it to be, but then the sun explodes or something, and then you're like, oh crap,
Sure.
You gotta like, I always wondered that, like, if you went somewhere else, like there's a universe where everything is the same except I have a blue pencil here or a red pencil here instead of a blue one, and that's the only thing that's different with that universe. And then there's also ones where like the sun explodes like right now as we're talking, and it's just like the weird like improbable probability of certain things just happens in these other universes, or like the idea of it happening.
Mm-hmm.
Is really interesting.
Do you ever watch Rick and Morty?
I don't, but I've heard,
or
I've seen a couple episodes. I've not seen a lot of the episodes.
Yeah, this reminds me of that. What was the concept? It was like the finite curve.
The finite curve.
Did they go into that in Rick and Morty?
Yeah, so it's like basically there's like obviously in Rick and Morty the whole concept is there's infinite amount of Ricks. Infinite multiverses, and so they can travel between those, right? But there's like a certain amount of Rick can only access like the certain amount of people around him, right? It was actually a system that Rick put in place to help prevent bad things from happening as a protection. But still, it's really interesting about, like, we were talking about I brought up the concept of like if you could access like your parallel self, right? Kind of like parallel processing your brain across like multiple versions of yourself, right? Like imagine that, but you guys are talking about the exploding stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine how many versions of yourself would have that exploding.
Yeah,
your brain exploding as the star star goes supernova and destroys you.
Well, in theory, an infinite number.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, an infinite number. So you have like an infinite suffering and infinite knowledge, maybe limited knowledge actually, because you're just human. You can't get all the knowledge, but you have. Well, no, you would have. See, this is like you would have versions of yourself that would be like not even carbon-based life. That's the whole thing. So I guess you would have infinite knowledge if you had that. Truly,
but would that still be yourself though? Because
it would
still say the infinite versions of yourself are still yourself.
Yeah.
Or are you
what
still
if
part of?
Can I say another version of myself is
the
Mike?
Whole clone
like,
theories.
what if another version of myself is just exactly how Mike is? So does that mean I know Mike? Does that mean I am him, or am I still myself?
Yeah.
Well, you can have like, if you were to somehow contextualize baseness of you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you biologically, and then there's you mentally, right?
Yeah.
And of course that can change too. But let's say you biologically are the same. You would have to calculate your baseline or wherever you want your baseline to be, and then how
far away?
far away you get from like quote unquote Colton.
Yeah.
And that baseline is just is random too, because if you're going to calculate off you,
Someone else
then
can calculate
you're
off
like
themselves.
the prime to yourself.
Yeah.
But everyone else would be the prime to themselves.
Yeah. So that means there's infinite variation, which means that
It's all about context with this whole
you gotta like limit it to one instance. Like it had to be my instance, and that's all I can limit. That's what I have to limit.
But that
to.
also brings in the not just the cloning, but also the ship of Theseus perspective.
Oh, I like
so,
that one.
Yeah,
that's a fun one.
All right, I'm glad you're familiar with that. So, Colton, ship of Theseus is basically if you remove one board from a ship and replace it with a new board, and you do that like individually each time.
Yeah.
Over the course of a couple of years, right? Is that ship still the same ship? And you replace every single portion of that ship.
Yeah. Is it the same ship?
Exactly. So
yeah,
the same thing could be with the human body, right? Because obviously our cells
Cyberpunk.
are replicating, dying, and being replaced. Was it skin is constant, right?
Yeah.
And it's like kidneys are like every like was it no it's like every 7 years is like that.
I thought the longest was like every 8 years. There's some cells that are really long lived, but for the most part, everything does eventually get replaced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so you're constantly being replaced, and that is the you that existed
8 years ago.
8 years ago, yeah. Well, it's a little different because we're so close to the puberty age where 8 years ago me was very different.
It was very different, yeah, mentally and
Well,
everything.
that's exactly what I was about to argue. It's like, would you argue that you're the same as you were 8 years ago, and then even in 8 years, would you argue the same person as you are now, and then 8 years from there, so on and so forth? I mean, and 8's just an arbitrary number, but
yeah,
you have the potential to be always evolving. Some people don't do that, and they are the same person they were 20 years ago, let's say. But some people,
at least from a mentally kind of perspective,
Yeah.
sure,
right?
yeah. But some people, are always continually changing.
Yeah, it's like you got to define what it means to be a different person. Yeah, because physically you're always changing, but mentally, you can stay stuck in stuck in whatever age you want to be stuck at, I guess.
And then if you at some point be able to live, 1,000 years or 10,000 years, at what point would that stop?
Yeah,
you think,
do you
or
stop?
would you always keep going, or would it slow down? There's all sorts of potentials to that.
Yeah, where you stop growing. Yeah, I think it also brings in a good perspective of when I don't know if you ever talk to older generations, talk to boomers, but
boomers. No, I'm too.
The
cool.
concept of time, like when I talk to someone older than I am, right? For me, a year is quite a bit of time, but for someone who's in their 60s, even in their 40s, anyone at that age can probably tell you is that a year going by is it's so different.
It's much,
compared to because I feel like a year going by, although these past years have gone by both slow and fast at the same time.
Yeah, it's been a mush of memories for me.
Yeah, but because 1 year proportionally in their lifespan is only 1/60th, right, 1/70th of their life, versus for us it's 1/20th, 1/25th of our lifespan. So imagine that over the span of 10,000 or a million years, right?
Yeah. I feel like you would definitely keep changing. Eventually you would not be able to relate to the human race. But I don't know what would happen, that would happen in 1,000 years. You'd start being like this deity and you wouldn't relate to the human race. You'd probably be found out.
Well, and then all that is assuming that humans as a whole are the same as they were, or same as right now are the same as they will ever be.
Yeah. And they won't.
I mean, in a million years, let's say we're still around, we're not going to be recognizable as humans as we are.
Yeah,
now.
it'll be completely different.
Yeah,
we will be apes.
I think. I would hope so.
We'll be monkeys.
We've
returned to monkey.
But I don't know. A lot of that comes from sci-fi too. A lot of that thinking. now it comes
Yeah.
from sci-fi.
It's weird.
Um,
Oh, are you done, Sean? Sorry, I had another point.
Yeah.
It's weird how like sci-fi has gotten some things right. I feel like there's the sci-fi movies that use science and it's calculation based, like in Interstellar. They're like, oh, like this happens because of this, and so that calculation makes sense. But there's also, and I'm not thinking of any right off the top of my head, but there's been like truly science fiction concepts that have come into reality over time, like 30 years ago in movies that have come into concept, and it's cool. Like sometimes, I don't know, it's warned, and even like issues sci-fi like dystopian novels back in the day, they talk of issues when as the internet rises up or whatever, they were kind of correct, even though they had nothing to really go off of to say this is how humans will behave. Right. There's something, I don't know what it was from, but something about like social media and that people are going to always want to have that short amount of like fame, and how that's coming into fruition now with like TikTok. It's like 5 seconds of fame, but they made that prediction in like the 90s, and I'm like, they had no way to actually know how it would look when that got here, but they're kind of right. So now I'm wondering what people are saying 20 years from now. What's their next prediction?
What
I want to know.
Also fascinates me just as much is the like things they predicted yet were like totally wrong about, right? Like one of them is like
we're kind of close, as well.
Yeah, 1950s, like they expected us to all be using like it was all Fallout was the best example of this, where everyone's thinking, oh, fancy cars, all this like nuclear fusion technology, for fission technology, and it's all like that's where we're going. And now it's all computers. We haven't really changed, like,
Well, have you guys watched the Jetsons, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what the Jetsons are.
Okay, that was a really old cartoon, like old even when our parents were were young, and like old to them. And I think it takes place in like 2030.
Yeah, like really close to now. Jeez.
Like really close, and there's no way we're getting here.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Well, think about 2001: A Space Odyssey.
There you go.
Yeah, which is actually in a lot of ways more realistic than. I mean, obviously, there's no giant monolith that we found, but
okay, the Jetsons takes place in 2062.
We're still not going to get there. Like that.
So we still got some time, but there's no way we're getting there.
Not quite. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely different. And think about their expectation, right? Flying cars, as cool as they are, they're not really that feasible, right? At least right now, and honestly, in the future, like drones aren't even a thing yet.
Yeah,
self-driving cars are way more plausible than flying cars.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, the amount of time, like if we had flying cars, they would have to be self-flying.
Yeah,
because there's no way
so
you
bad.
would trust people to just go out and fly.
Yeah.
The amount of accidents that happen on the road, imagine how much worse it would be if everyone flew.
Yeah, that would be so much collateral damage if we had flying cars.
And the thing for me too is like one, like landing zones, you gotta have the traffic patterns, right? So they gotta be self-driving, but also just like how many times just like something fall off a car. Like imagine you got like this 30-year-old car, right? And it's just like, oh, a piece falls and it hits terminal velocity and kills someone on the ground because they're flying above them, right?
Yeah.
Or like someone stalls out.
Because planes, it happens quite a bit. Like there'll be a piece of something that falls, but there's not a ton of planes, right? But if you have like, think about all the cars on the road,
same
right?
amount of cars that we have in the world flying.
Millions of cars, that would be not good.
Insane.
Oh, absolutely.
Stuff like that is cool. But then we get into like the future tech. That's not so much philosophizing as it is like predicting what could happen in the future.
Yeah.
Which is equally as fun.
Yeah. The one concept I did want to bring up though, and we were talking about this a little bit, but immortality. Is that something? Have you guys ever thought about that? Like, okay,
what would that mean?
What would I do if I could live forever?
I think Sean, we know your answer. I think he said it.
What is it?
I think you were like, yes, I will be immortal. I thought that's what you said.
So maybe I have said that. Well, I would love to be like a computer program and have a longer life and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would want to be immortal.
Okay.
Like never dying, because that I think presents problems. Especially with human minds as they are right now. Yeah. I don't think human minds can take living forever.
But when do you cut it off? Like when when do you say
When you
I'm
feel,
done?
when I feel like I've done it all.
So you're kind of like,
where I'm
yeah,
you
I've
know
lived
what?
a good life. It's
10,000
time
years?
to plug it out.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
When those
Okay.
experiences have stopped being experiences, and now it's just kind of trudging on.
But wouldn't that
Yeah.
wouldn't you just
And-
like go into like this depression cycle, being like, I don't know the meaning of life anymore, and then you die kind of like really unhappily? Or is there a way to actually make that
It's a potential.
happy?
I don't know.
I feel like I would just be like, I've experienced everything, and the meaning of life is nothing to me anymore. Then you would die.
I feel like I would. I feel like it also depends on your circumstances.
Yeah.
Like if you have no control in this like millennia long lifespan, then it's gonna suck. But if you
Yeah.
have the capability to go about and change your environment or go out and do things, then it's gonna be a bit different experience. Like the Bobaverse book that I brought up before. I mean, the question of resource gathering and what you can make is a non-issue, because you can go to a solar system, find the resources you need, print anything you need, and then you're done. So you have no shortage of capability. It's just a matter of exploration and curiosity at that point. And as long as that holds you over, as long as you don't get bored of the universe, then you can go on for quite a while, I imagine.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think if I were to be immortal or want to live a long lifespan, I feel like I'd want there to be, I wouldn't want everything like spoon fed to me, I guess. Like, if I had to learn a skill, I'd want to learn that skill and master it and like have a reason to keep improving instead of just exploring. Because that's what you were kind of saying,
Well, in
Sean,
this-
right?
In this, I'm just gonna go reference a lot of like sci-fi stuff
Sure.
because that's the biggest base.
Sure.
In this Bobaverse book, they don't like know everything, then they're still people mentally.
Yeah.
So, it takes hundreds of years to research or improve upon a technology to make it better and do these things, and it's not like you can just click a button and it's there.
Okay.
They have to actively work at it to make it better.
Okay. So, but like the people that are in this is this a simulation universe? The Bobaverse? I forget.
No, it's our universe, but all the Bobs are computer programs.
I see.
Essentially.
Okay.
They're someone who has turned into a computer program and then has since replicated themselves.
I see. So they're still
It's like they're sent out as a probe, right, into the great beyond, and they're like, all right, go
Well, that was their
self-replicate.
original mission, but it kind of got that
Sidetracked?
original mission is of no consequence. Now they're like their own entity and they're doing their own thing.
Okay.
Okay.
But yes, they kind of go out and explore and like, oh, what's this? And just the
Yeah.
people that happen to be computer programs.
Yeah, I guess like from a conscious downloading perspective, like if I was on Minecraft, free roam mode, creativity mode, I wouldn't like that. I think that
Oh, I'd hate that too.
I couldn't just build
Yeah.
stuff and then be like, oh, cool. I want the survival mode. I want to like
You
get
you
better
get bored,
at stuff. Yeah.
Which is why I just don't want to be, I don't want to be immortal in the sense that like nothing can kill me. There needs to be, for life to have meaning, there must be
Consequences.
a risk of loss.
the risk or the risk of
Yeah.
death. Are you truly living if you haven't faced death?
Well, I mean, isn't that the
Or
greatest
can you
that's the
truly live if there is no possibility of death?
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, this is okay. I'm gonna go on a side tangent. One of my favorite video games. When we talk about video games, eventually one of these days is Nier Automata, and that tackles the question a lot because you play as spoilers for Nier Automata. Play it if you haven't played it before. But are you guys gonna play it? Do I need to be careful about this?
Probably not. Yeah.
No.
You
Okay.
Go for it.
They are androids. It's basically androids fighting robots. Robots are invading, and there's this war or whatever. But one of the robots, he evolves to look like a human. The robots are like trying to become like God. They're trying to become gods, right?
This is like Terminator.
Yeah. So the robots are like obsessed with like God, like their creators, like we must become God. And then they finally create their quote unquote perfect life form, which is just a guy. It's just a robot that looks exactly like a human and who's named Adam because of course he is, right?
Oh.
But he is one of the biggest parts of that was he was really special because he was like the leader. But all the robots were all a hive mind. So they never truly died. So Adam was like, if I want to be like God, if I want to be like my creators, I have to like disconnect from the hive mind. So the way you kill this guy and end one of the wars is you kill him because he's like, I'm not living unless I face death. So he disconnects himself from the hive mind to fight you because you're like the main person opposing him, and then you kill him, and then it ends the war because he's like, now I've truly lived.
Huh.
Kind of a.
I can see that.
It was just like a really cool, like this is like a really strange side story, but I just thought, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of true. Like if you can't have any risk of dying, are you truly living? Like not just loss, because if I lose my progress, who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
you can always make it up, and it's only time.
Yeah, and that's why
I think that's the thing is also it's losing time, right? I always see from a video game perspective is like if you're immortal, the time doesn't fucking matter to you. So it's only death that really is the killer, right? But like I guess in our times, death is a certainty because we're going to die someday.
Yeah, and you're gonna
as humans. So losing time is the real killer. And it's like,
is,
oh god, I need to make.
I mean, that's what we were kind of arguing before in our Arcane episode.
Oh yeah,
because one of the characters in Arcane is very long lived and just doesn't think on the same time scale that everyone else does. And everyone else is like dying, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we should test this
40
more."
years.
Like we don't have time for that, dude.
Career.
We gotta go. But if you have a bunch of people that are that long lived, you think about things more so than like I don't think the human race as a whole is very we have short lifespans, so we don't think too much about the future, or like long scale. Like, sure, we can think in 100 years, but we don't think in the scale of thousands or millions of years.
Not even like 300 years.
It's impossible for us to do.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So
we don't even think about the span in 20 years.
We weren't a country in 300 years ago.
It's a whole different thing.
And no one 300 years ago was thinking about now.
Yeah, absolutely not. Most people weren't, at least.
Or at least most people. So like, until we can become like a race that thinks forward, it's going to be really hard to tackle some of those problems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like this immortality question and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you though that, and I think frankly there also needs to be an off switch. Like you gotta have the option to turn yourself off, because I feel like, well, that's
what I was saying. Like after 10,000 years, I'm like, I'm done, and just go. Whoop.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Delete yourself.
You know what I think would be cool actually, because that's like I seriously don't know how I would take that. Like honestly, like just saying I'm done, and then dying. Like I would want to hold on to life. I would think.
Mm-hmm. Really?
Maybe.
See,
but I think you're thinking like a couple hundred years. If you've been around for 500,000 years, and you've seen everything, do you want to keep going?
I don't know.
Or would you still have the curiosity of like, I wonder what's next?
I don't. That's the thing.
That would keep me going for a while.
I don't know. I mean, I think it would keep me going for a long time. Like I'd want to see where life goes, but just like 500,000 years, and I mean, like freaking Wolverine had issues like growing up and seeing his like families die over time, and that's several more. I wonder, like, I feel like one of the situations I would like is if you got reincarnated, but after you died in that life, you got like all your memories back, and then you're like, we're in the central hub, and you're like, all right, I'm back. That was a good life or a bad life. And you like retain all those memories, and then you start again or something like that.
Yeah. What's that game from? What was it? From Rick and Morty. It was like Ron or something like that.
Bro, Ron. It was Ron.
Where he basically, there's a game in where some like it's basically imagine the interdimensional Dave and Buster's. That's essentially what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just a life simulator. Like you
literally play as a guy named Ron.
Okay,
and you see how far you can go. In life.
In life,
and but when you come out of it, when you go into the game, it's like you are Ron.
Yeah,
you don't remember your previous life, and then when you die, you come out of the game and it's just a screen.
So you can try it again, and I mean, I would say as your conscious self, but I don't know. I think it'd be really that would be really interesting.
My biggest hope for death is when I die, I can just experience everything in theater mode, like no interaction, but I can just like, what did happen to the Tower of Babel, in
just
the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. Like I want to go see it, or the Library of Babylon. I just want to go and experience everything. Like that's my biggest hope when I die is just being able to just sit and watch,
No wonder you like exploration games. Yeah, see, for me, I think the biggest thing is I would love, the experiences and be able to experience so many things, but then be able to pass that on to someone, other people, right? And help.
I would need to pass it on. I just want to watch. I just want to know. My sense of curiosity is pretty high. So
yeah,
it'd be cool to share it with somebody, sure, but you're dead. I mean, you can only hope for so much.
See, that'd be what I'd want with immortality is the ability to pass it on, to learn a lot of things,
knowledge,
and then pass the knowledge on. Okay, because obviously thousands of years of experience, you'll have a few bits of knowledge. But yeah, definitely
whether or not someone listens to you.
Yeah,
but hey, maybe you'll have better the skills, right, to be fairly charismatic and
Honestly, one of the best situations in my opinion of what would happen after death, just get Mashoko Tensei, just get born, reincarnated as a kid, have all the prior experience in your head, and just live your life with your previous experiences in just some other world where I don't know, some fantasy shit exists, or really highly technological universe or something.
Yeah, just hope it's not
be a prodigy.
Hope it's not Berserk.
Yeah, okay, we don't in a cool universe. In a universe that's maybe stable.
That's really asking for a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where I could be a prodigy and I can be OP and have a great time.
Hey, who's to say that doesn't happen,
Hey man, I would be so happy
if infinite is an actual thing.
I would unite all the countries. I would just be everyone, we're gonna be good. We're gonna
defeat the demon lord.
We're gonna defeat the demon lord. I'm gonna do it. I will do it. Yeah, that would be great if that happened. That's what I'll hold on to. Hold on to that possibility.
Your dying breath.
Yeah.
Finally, I get to save the world.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows though, right?
Yeah. Who knows?
That's why I just keep on living. But yeah, immortality is a weird thing. The thing that bothers me about immortality is there's especially true, okay, you cannot die. You will exist forever, right? Is you'll basically be around, one, for the heat death of the universe, and then after whatever comes after, and two, imagine how much suffering and shit, and there's essentially there's 100% chance you'll be trapped in a situation you cannot get out of, especially as just a normal human, right? There's 100% chance throughout all of the infinite expansive time after or whatever, right? That I'll be trapped under a mountain. And I can't move, and I'll just be there.
Oh, you don't have the power, if you got a building that fell on you, and you're just sitting there, but then no one knows.
I'm just a human, right?
Yeah, you can't just take everything out, right? You're just Oh, okay.
You're just a normal human.
I feel
but
like
immortal.
I've seen something like that before, or some sort of. I've read something that it was similar. Some guy got stuck in a situation like that, and they unearthed him 1,000 years later.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a fantasy book or something, or a sci-fi?
I don't remember. It just sounds familiar to me.
God, that would suck.
There's a movie that's really cool called The Man from Earth, and it's a super it's a short movie. It takes place in one room, and it's just basically these guys. This teacher guy is or professor at a university is moving. And all the several other professors come over to be going away party,
Mm-hmm.
And we get into this talk of he's got these super old things Johnny Walker Green, which they didn't know was a thing, or they have he has this fossil from the caveman era, and
okay,
all these weird things, and he doesn't looks the same. He's been there 10 years and he looks the exact same,
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing is he starts launching into the story of after being pressured by everybody, that posing the question of what if there was this guy who was a literal caveman and just didn't die. So 10,000, 20,000, I don't know how long ago cavemen were, but
living
10,000 years, let's say. which is not that long, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
But even still, a long time for a human. And the movie doesn't ever like tell you that this guy is who he says he is.
Right.
But it's up to you to figure it to think about.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all these, he's, you know, if you put yourself in that situation, it's all these experiences he's talking about where, you know, if you were just a guy that was around for all of these events, how much small things could be influenced later on because of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a fascinating little watch. Because like every person there is like a special, like there's a biological specialist and
Yeah, and I take it he's the history teacher. I'm assuming
he's a history. I think he's a history teacher. And there's a theologist there, and then all these things, and like
or anthropologist
and a theologist. But yeah,
that's really interesting. You said it's a movie, right?
Yeah, it's a movie. It's like 90 minutes.
Do you know the name?
The Man from Earth.
Oh yeah, duh. Sorry.
The Man from Earth.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I'd really recommend watching that. There's also another movie called K-Pax, which is like similar vein, and it's this guy who everyone assumes is crazy, and he's like, I'm an alien.
Oh, and no one believes him.
and it's another one of those movies where it's up to you, you know, to determine if this guy actually is an alien. But it's a fascinating watch, both of those movies. They make you think.
I love thought-provoking films.
Yeah, there's not very many of them nowadays.
Yeah, I used to like be really into those as a kid, but I haven't seen one in a while.
I feel like at the same time, all movies are kind of thought-provoking. There's a lot of existential, especially now. I don't know what's going on. Like, I feel like this past 10 years or so have, like, even like the Marvel ones, like, you know, popcorn film ones have gone pretty existential. Like, imagine, you know, we got Multiverse of Madness coming out pretty soon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And imagine 10 years ago us having a movie about like crazy multiverse stuff. Like, like that's just not something that could be made.
That's just public interest changes over time as well. Mm-hmm. So like what people are into nowadays or can consume nowadays is different than what we could before.
Yeah.
People are generally more open to things nowadays. More or less. Or, I mean, Marvel has spent years preparing people for this next segment. You know?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a master class in how to like, if we needed to do this whole propaganda scheme on anything, Marvel Studios is the way to do it.
Absolutely.
They can convince you of anything or prepare you for anything given like 10 years.
Yeah, no, Disney has pulled a masterclass in that series. I mean, Disney overall it's pretty nutso.
Oh, Disney's evil, but
Disney's evil. That's a different discussion. Walt Disney's
Don't say
immortal.
that, Sean. I can
Don't
see
find me. The
I can see the
door.
drone. I can see the laser on your temple right now.
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here.
No, but I don't know. Yeah. That's one place I never, as a kid, never really was amazed by it. Like, I went to Disney World when I was younger, and I was like, okay, cool. But it never stuck with me. There's some people, even now, right? Like, a couple of my coworkers, like, will do Disney World every year.
There's a lot of people that are Disney fanatics.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wonder what that draw is, right?
It's just
because I never had that experience, like where like this is exceptional. Like, oh, we gotta go to like this magical world of what I'm like. It's just a theme park.
I feel like it's the nostalgia. Like, I don't know. It's really fun to be around all these themed things. Like, that's the reason we're going to AX. Like, you're around all this like cool stuff that you really, really enjoy and you grew up with, and you know maybe your kids are watching.
That's a
so
good
it's like
argument.
seeing your kids like actually see the character and being like, holy crap, they love it.
Like, my stepmom and I, she had all of those Disney movies, like all the old Disney movies, all on VHS, and I've watched like basically every single Disney movie. And it's part of my childhood, but I don't have that same nostalgic thing. When I go there, I don't know, I see the kind of almost the facade.
Yeah.
That I think that's what I see as well. Like I go there
Like, it's
and
just
I
for
see
money.
it's cool, you know, the scale and the machine that is of which Disney is the product of,
Yeah.
you know,
Yep.
or Disneyland is the product of.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have the same, you know. Maybe it's just not having rose tinted glasses to see through. Like, I think I agree with you, Michael. I don't have that
The like connection to
I don't
it.
know how to describe it.
Yeah.
which surprised me. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, I did, but lately as an adult, you know, when I was a kid, I was like, oh, look at all this cool buildings and characters. For me, it's like the lines. The lines at Disney World are insane now. They are so much worse than they used to be. And last time I went, I could only get on like 4 rides because I didn't plan in advance for this fast pass. So, you know, it wasn't the happiest place on earth at that point in time. I could definitely tell you that. But
that's right, and you got to pay like $200 per like ticket and plus fast pass.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But I don't know. I guess why do I really like? I don't know. It's nostalgic. It's kind of cool to see the castle. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. You know, if they made like, I'd be more interested in going to like the Mario World or Nintendo World. Even then, it's not going to be this amazing thing. It's more like, oh, that's kind of cool. This whole area is like based off Nintendo, and I really like that, and I'm cool. I get to see it, kind of thing.
I understand that definitely because I hadn't been to Disneyland in forever, and well, as a kid, I went a lot, and then me and my brother just stopped, because for some reason, you know, it just lost its magic.
Yeah,
but and then what kept me from going back was the price.
Yeah,
you know, the cost of admission, the lines, the things, and there are really cool things there. You know, like Star Wars Land opened up.
Yeah.
In the Disneyland that I was nearby, and I was extremely fortunate to go to Disneyland on a tour, and you get I don't know if you guys have ever heard about that or
I don't think I've had
like that,
a tour.
Yeah, you get a guide. They call them plaids. They wear plaid shirts, and they just walk you through the park. You know, if you want to say you want to go on something, you just walk onto it. You don't wait in line. You don't do anything.
Great.
Wow.
It's insane.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
wild.
And I did that, and got to see Star Wars Land and go on all like the new major rides and everything. And it was a really cool experience. And that's what I think is cool that Disneyland can do, is this type of experience that you can't get anywhere else. Like I turned a corner and saw the Millennium Falcon life size right there. I'm like, whoa!
That's kind of cool.
Or the cantina, like where there's a robot in the corner doing the band and the drinks are all foamy. Like, super cool. It's not what I would do every weekend. You know, it's like this is a once in a year plus experience.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't do that either. Even if price wasn't an issue, I wouldn't do it every weekend, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I'm probably going to get a lot of haters for this, but yeah.
Yeah. Some people love it. Some people just...
At the same time, everyone has their own interests, you know, and if going every week is something that you like doing, sure. It's just not something I have an interest in doing.
Yeah.
Is there anything like...
I just don't see the appeal.
Is there anything that's similar to Disney World that both of you guys would do if you could do it all the time? Anything kind of on that level? Maybe not as crazy and, you know, like out there as Disney World and Disneyland, but something similar.
Go to Japan? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.
That's like theme parks, right?
Many people would have no interest in going to Japan, but you know, I would be like, sure, 100%, let's go.
Yeah.
Traveling in general, maybe for me. Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
Well, what about just like theme parks? Like I could do frankly, I'd do Cedar Point over Disney World.
Really?
Like I've never been to Cedar Point, but I've done Six Flags several times.
Yeah,
which is the
same
thing,
concept.
So
yeah,
I've heard.
Like just doing roller coasters and stuff like that. Especially if I get a line pass and skip a lot of the lines, that'd be nice. But
the
I don't know.
best time I've ever done like a park like that was my high school senior like graduation trip.
Yep.
Like we drove out, everyone got in buses and went to Six Flags, and it was at night after the park closes technically. So
All the rides for you.
it, in my mind, was the best time to experience a theme park like that because you don't have to worry about sun. It's like the whole park is just yours and running around. It was like a couple high schools at the same time, but even still, that's less people than a normal day. So no lines. It was super fun. And at the end of the day, it was like dirt tired because it was like 4 a.m.
Oh my gosh, they kept you out that late? Holy crap.
It was probably like 2 or 3, but yeah.
We did something similar for my high school. We went to, it's basically, all right, everyone can go out to, Cedar Point, and kind of same thing. It wasn't at night, but they did do like a adjusted schedule where we got to stay late at the park. So you like stayed like, I forget when the park closes, but like, let's just hypothetically say 4 o'clock, and we got to stay till 7. So we got like, a couple extra hours after to actually, do those rides, and we could like just do a bunch of them all the time. It was really fun.
From like 6 to 2 a.m. or something like that. 6 p.m.
That is such
something like that.
You guys are so lucky.
I can't believe they allowed that.
Or 7. I don't know. It was like it's an hour drive from my high school. So you get there, and then that's 2 hours. So we were probably there for about 4 or 5 hours, or 5 to 6 hours. But we came home, let's say, at 2 a.m., 2 or 3 a.m. So whatever math that works out to.
That's so lucky. Man, you want to know what we did for my senior thing in high school? Went to a freaking bowling alley. Yeah, that's how much money we had at my high school. Bowling alley. We were there for like 4 hours. Everyone was ready to go home after like 40 minutes. It's like, bowling. We've already bowled like 2 games, guys.
That's a little sad.
That was pretty bad. It was like, I mean, at least they tried, but I was ready to go home. I was about to be like, okay, I'm gonna call like an Uber, call my parents, just get us out of here because I don't need to be here
ice
anymore.
Skating probably would have been a bit better.
Ice skating, rollerblading, or there's so many other things we could have done. I don't know what
an arcade.
Yeah, arcade. I don't know. You guys got lucky.
Freaking bowling, man. Yeah. I mean, we still had to pay for it.
Oh, really?
I mean, I think it was
we didn't have to
the
pay
buses
for ours,
that they.
So.
Yeah. So
I think we had to pay a certain amount as well.
Yeah, you basically had to pay for the ticket. The school did the busing, and that's what I remember. They basically said pay for buses. So I mean, still, yeah, kind of pricey, but it was fun.
Worth it. I mean, it was fun. I definitely have good memories of it. So what more can you ask for?
Yeah.
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 But you'd travel every week to Japan?
I mean, I travel.
If I had my own jet, yes.
I would travel every month if it wasn't an issue. Like, I'd go there for a long weekend every month.
If I had to go through like public airplane, and
Public
everything,
airports?
no. Once a month, sure.
So you don't think you could travel then? Because like I think I've told this before. My dad used to do that for years. He was traveling. He'd spend 300 something days of the year in a hotel
somewhere else,
and he'd basically fly home. He'd fly home like either Thursday night or Friday night, and then fly out Sunday.
Well, that's also different. Like he's going for work, which is a whole on different type of traveling than traveling for pleasure.
Yeah, I agree.
That's true. Yeah,
like I'd
but
do
still,
that.
he's traveling all the time.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I don't think I would enjoy it.
His was also a lot shorter. It was only like 3 to 4 hours versus the 12 hours it takes to get to
and that's also a huge difference. If you can only do a 3 to 4 hour flight, sure, but I would do it for a little bit.
Do you think you'd ever do that?
I think I'd do it for a little bit, and then, but not very long term. Your dad has done it for a long time, right? He did that for
he did it for like 5-6 years.
Yeah, I
wouldn't.
I mean,
nowadays there's no need to really.
Yeah.
There's no need to do that.
Well, if you want to go experience
true.
different places, like, I mean, Carly was going to, she had her old work used to allow you to go abroad every year. And yeah, that's not needed, but I would totally want to do that.
What does that mean? Allow you to go abroad?
They went on a conference
to work?
Yeah, they went on a conference I think they were going to go to Spain or something like that. And COVID got all those canceled, but yeah, stuff like that, that's what I want to do. Honestly,
actually, my new job, there's a couple opportunities like that. You're gonna have to be like in with people. Unfortunately, yeah, you got to be like in the inside. But there's a couple conferences that are in the area that we work in, and they're like overseas. And hey, shit, if I'm invited, You bet your ass
Yeah,
I'm going.
absolutely.
I would love to take
definitely.
a business trip.
Honestly, I just
But I wouldn't do it like on a regular thing, you know.
just a special occasion.
You want it regular? You
No,
wouldn't
I
do
wouldn't. I wouldn't do regular.
Oh,
It's
okay.
If I
sporadically, sure. Let's go.
what I would want to do is honestly, I've always thought about this. If I ever come back to, or if I ever like came back to where I worked now, because I'm going to be moving soon. But if I ever came back to where I was working now, I would just go to like work for a Japanese company because there's a lot of Japanese companies in the area. Flex that I've like learned some Japanese and then try to go work, try to get over there every like so often. I think
Yeah,
I think
and
that'd
that might be a good
awesome.
in because someone who can like translate
Dude, yeah. If I could
like
just
to native English,
Yeah, I would I would try so
I imagine
hard.
highly sought after.
Yeah, I try so hard to learn, and then I would just hopefully be that guy that can go abroad and do certain jobs, whatever they need to do, I guess, or if they need some sort of guy from the North American team over there, just throw me over there. I'll do it.
Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
pretty
sick. But yeah,
cool. Oh.
How did we get on that conversation?
I have no
I
idea.
know, right? It went from existential crises to Disney's
Disneyland.
evil to travel.
Yep.
Which those two seem like a pretty close,
close,
link,
yeah,
but
Walt
like
Disney.
What
Yeah.
existential
Yeah.
crisis and Disney?
Disney's evil, yeah.
So if you guys were offered to download your consciousness in the next couple years and then leave behind your life right now, would you do it?
Next
No.
couple years, no.
Next couple, no.
Next couple of years, no.
When,
Give me 30 years, probably.
so when you're middle aged or older, is when you do it.
After like kids and shit.
What
and,
if
you know?
What if you have to do
Well,
it before
so-
you're 30, or they can't do it?
Ooh,
Like you can't. They're like
That's
your
a really-
body is.
yeah.
that's a good question because I mean, it really depends on the amount of infrastructure that's built up for it at the time.
Yeah. What
Because
you can do.
If I get translated into digital self and I just had to like work in VR chat for a while, not worth it, you know. But if there's actually like a whole on ecosystem for digital people that's being built up or like pretty active at the time,
Yeah.
or established,
Yeah.
maybe I think
It's like
I'd give
at
it more
level
thought.
with you know, it's like sword art level where like you seem like you're actually in a
Yeah.
a physical
Yeah.
form.
Yep.
But I don't know. That'd be so weird because like obviously there'd be this disconnect, right? And you'd have to leave behind your own life because one, think about the time frame. I mean, I guess you could dilate the time frame, but there's no point in uploading your consciousness if you can't work faster, right? Or like process information. 'Cause, like a computer is like a million times faster.
I would
than your
imagine
brain.
that's just an intrinsic thing that would happen if
Yeah.
you became digital. You would be able to process things faster.
Or I guess you could process things, but you'd still experience time at the same beat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you could. So I'm going to reference the Abaverse again. So what happens in there is they're a computer program, right?
Yeah.
So they can speed up their clock to the fact where they're experiencing, an hour in a second, let's say.
Yeah.
But you can do the reverse and slow down your clock. So every, minute to you is actually like 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, which makes journeying across interstellar distances, which take, tens of 20s years, make it feel like a month.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause nothing happens out there. So so you don't go insane. You might as well slow yourself down so you can just, have a short trip relatively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting too. Or like what you do is you like, because obviously you don't have to sleep anymore, right?
Mm-hmm.
You basically operate at super speed during the evening when everyone's asleep, but then when your family or friends or actual humans are up and at 'em and working, you can switch to slow mode.
Yeah. And that assumes that you need to interact with them. Like, what
Wouldn't you want to?
Well, probably, but for the most part, if there's this, if I'm being converted into a digital thing, I'm assuming other people are too, and therefore it just becomes its own little civilization.
But what if it's just you? Hypothetically.
Oh, that's a whole different
Do you
story.
have NPCs?
You can probably make some.
Yeah.
I guess if you
Yeah,
could,
you probably could. I mean, it's your own your own constructed reality, right?
that would
'Cause,
be.
I mean,
that would be a limit to where I would consider not doing it before, like not doing
Here's
that
what-
at all. Because like
That'd be kind of
Here's
sad
what
though.
happened
It's like all my friends are NPCs.
yeah, exactly. That's why I like wouldn't do it. The point of life is to
So
like
here's
meet
what
real
happened in the
people.
Bobaverse. Is eventually, so they started as digital programs, right? But eventually they made androids so that they could just, remote into these androids, and they are just like people, with all the regular senses and tastes and everything.
Okay, but you don't have that. This is just you uploaded to a computer. You can interact.
Why
as
can't I
any-
have that? I mean, like,
Because it's the most limiting fact. Like, basically, we're just trying to go from like the baseline, set the baseline. We're not trying to be all extravagant. It's like,
well,
if
you're
you had
trying to
the-
figure out at what point I would download myself.
exactly, yeah. So,
And
so
if I
let's
was
start
the
with the
only
bottom.
person, and we're just like, in what year is it? 2022, and we're in like 2030, let's say. Nah, I probably wouldn't do it.
No,
But-
right now. Let's say if the technology exists right now, and you could upload yourself, but you'd be the only person there, and you'd have to interact with, like through normal, like modern.
Well, then I
communication.
wouldn't do it. I mean, that's too
right.
many restrictions.
Yeah, I need to have like face-to-face contact. I feel like.
Well, I don't necessarily need that. It's just there's just not enough to make it worth it right now.
Or with that,
Whereas-
those limitations. Yeah.
Whereas in some theoretical world where we don't, like, let's say Star Trek universe exists.
Mm-hmm.
Money's not a concept. People can do their own thing. Quote unquote utopia. Sure, I'd do it then because you don't have to worry about stuff. You can just you advance your learning and stuff. You could learn so much faster as a machine.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And you could explore different things. You could explore the digital world extremely fast. I mean, you'd be, basically be the best hacker on the planet at that point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I wouldn't do it now. It's
Too much left behind.
now.
Yeah.
If I died, let's say, and that was the only way to save me, sure, I would do
Yeah.
that. Like, you have a little thing, you on your license, you have to say if you're a organ donor or not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
A
upload.
new little dot that's like, upload me.
yeah.
It's like an up arrow, like an upvote
Yeah.
arrow,
Yeah.
but green.
Yeah. Yeah, I would do that too.
I would do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take my
'Cause
organs and upload me.
I mean,
to
it would
the
be-
digital world.
To your point earlier, Colton, it would be kind of like living a second life in a way, because you'd hit your point, you died. Say, let's hope for the best. You
That's
die
true.
like at the age of 80.
Yep.
That's the
know.
best.
Or I don't know.
Whatever, you
For
lived
me,
a good
honestly,
life.
80 good life. Like
Whenever you die, as long as you lived a good one, that's hoping
exactly,
for the
yeah.
best.
And then
yeah.
you get like that second life essentially, but you could obviously
Except I can
be.
fly.
Although the question is, but that also brings up another point, is because we're talking about us from our perspective right now, right? Imagine uploading your consciousness at like 80, but you've also got like, hypothetically, you got like Alzheimer's or dementia, right? What would that mean? Because then
That's
like,
a
your
whole I
That's the whole
imagine
thing.
if
have
you want
no
to upload yourself,
Yeah.
you would have to take some sort of test to make sure that don't have a mental deficiency of some sort.
Yeah, or they can
Yeah.
eliminate
So that-
that through the re-uploading or something. Like,
that'd
like
be
you,
cool.
you lost all
Because-
your memories. You're uploaded. They're like, hey, so you had Alzheimer's.
We just deleted
Yeah,
that.
we deleted
Yeah,
that, and you're fine. So I don't know. That would be pretty weird. That's
I would imagine
So-
people like that would take the upload a lot sooner.
yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of dying, they just be like,
Yeah,
upload
before
me.
they fully get their Alzheimer's set in, they'll just do it beforehand.
Yeah.
But even
Or here's the question. Okay, you're 50. All right?
Mhm.
Go to your regular doctor's checkup and then say, listen, you're diagnosed with early onset dementia.
Mm-hmm.
There is no cure, but if we upload you right now, then you won't have that issue, and you'll be, perfectly clear for as long as you want to be.
Yeah.
Would you do that?
Probably. It's kind of like this.
Yeah, I think
like
I
the
would.
Alzheimer's argument there as well. Like, if I can be
Yeah.
in this realm and live out the rest of my years, probably be okay.
yeah.
Because that's one of the biggest things for me is, like, I would hate not having full mental capacity.
I'm
Yeah,
100% with you. I
I'm
was
with
going to say
that.
the exact same thing,
Just-
Sean.
it would
Like,
not be cool.
Not knowing yourself.
Like,
Or, like-
just take me out before that happens, because it's not worth it.
That's honestly why I said like 80 is like the year, because I feel like after that point you start losing I think the majority of people start losing like themselves, right? And I honestly, I'm like, fucking just euthanize me after that point. Like if I don't have, I mean, that
because
gets
then you
to
stop
a really
being
dark
you.
argument.
You could argue.
Exactly, yeah. But we also have to go back to the point of us being like, all right, are we really us? 10 years down the line too.
Yeah.
So,
Good
yeah,
point.
like we're
Good point.
the dissolution of like the identity, like your own identity and image of yourself when that becomes like extremely blurred. I don't know. Yeah.
Like
and
maybe
also-
I want to come up with a thing where I write myself a series of questions, and then I'm to be asked them every year, and if I cannot answer them,
Then
take me out.
Yeah, get out. Get him out of here.
That's a really fascinating. That's not a good idea for a book, honestly.
Yeah.
But that's really
Because then it becomes like those security questions you write. It's like, where were you born? What street will you live on? Imagine you forget and you're like, wait, no, I'm good.
Wait, hold on.
Right, yeah. They've got the gun out or whatever,
Yeah.
and it's like about to just pull the trigger. It's
Answer
like,
the
wait,
question.
I got this. Yeah.
No, give me a minute.
Hold on.
I know the answer. Hold on.
Try not to die here. Come on. Yeah, that's a really interesting case though. Like, yeah, essentially, because and also the weird thing is like, what if I change my opinion down the line? Like, I am 60, and then it's like, wait, no, I actually like myself.
That's why I hate those security questions because like
the self-identity.
they suck.
Well, I always put in bullshit answers for them anyway, but now I remember
really?
those bullshit answers.
You put in
Yeah,
I
right.
never actually put in a bullshit answer. I always put real answers.
Really?
In. Yeah, you guys do that?
See,
Is that really a thing?
Oh, I put in question adjacent answers. So it's something that will be, it's not the true answer, but it's close enough that it'll prompt my memory to be like, okay, this is the true answer to.
So when you can't answer those,
Exactly.
take you out.
Yeah.
Now,
Exactly,
I
yeah.
usually put in like what's your favorite color? I usually put my second, or something like that.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, exactly right. And so it's like it's the answers for those questions, not so much the true answers themselves.
Yeah.
because you only have to remember they're the same questions for everything.
Right.
Which is such a dumb security measure, but that's
it
besides
is.
the point.
Personal information.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea of like every year, I'm going to be asked these questions that I thought of, and if I don't answer them, and then to get them changed, let's say, I would have to like answer them to change them.
Yeah.
You
So
gotta
let's
change your
say
password.
I
Yeah.
changed,
Entering
Like
your
changing your
line,
password,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like changing your password to life.
Yeah.
It's like
Hopefully you don't forget it. What if it's like your password's expiring and you need to change your answer? Then you're like, you answer
oh
wrong
shit, my
next
password's
time.
expired.
Yeah.
I got to update it.
Right? Or your
Every
account's been
5 years.
disabled.
Yeah.
It's 85. Oh no, it's time to change.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Something like that is interesting to me because I don't want to be stuck in a hospital bed, for
Same.
just because I have some sort of illness or disease that can't be cured,
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, freeze me and then hope for the best in 100 years.
That's kind of what I was asking. Would you guys get frozen?
Oh yeah, 100%. Why not?
I don't know.
What
Maybe.
if the world
I mean,
sucks?
if I could pay for it, sure.
Didn't one of you guys say that someone wrote a book about people that froze themselves and then they
There's
got
Bobverse.
That's
Is that
Bobiverse.
Bobiverse? Okay. it's all the Bobiverse. Or they're
It's
not
all the Bobiverse.
Yeah,
It
they're not
always
actually
comes back.
human. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
Well, then they wake up and they're like, "Oh, you have no rights. You have
Yeah.
to do this, or you're
Yeah.
dead."
What did they have
we
to
turn
do
you off.
exactly? I thought they lived in a little village or something. They were like pretty peaceful about it.
No, it's no, so he woke up and it's this basically the US didn't exist anymore. It got taken over by this other country.
Yep.
Or it's like a not necessarily another country, but like another like
Yeah.
entity,
Uh,
if you will.
The
Like-
U.S. is not the U.S. anymore.
Yeah, or and countries have shit. Imagine like Code Geass, like
Yeah.
Britannia, and other countries, something like that. And they activate these corpuscles, as they call them, to become like AIs that do tasks. And if they don't do that task, then you just turn them off, and you delete them. But that's kind of how it goes.
I
And
mean,
his
I guess-
task was to be the probe that goes out and do things.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I guess there's
that
really
got derailed.
no. I mean, there's really no downside, right? Because if you get frozen,
I don't think
you
there's a
die.
downside.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because if you die, and then you wake up, and then it's not, not to your liking. You just die again.
Yeah.
Die
It's like,
again.
well,
Yeah.
kill me.
Like assuming that, that now, okay.
I feel like just
going
dying
back,
again is a bit hard.
Let's say I
do,
die.
though.
I die, but I'm frozen. All right? But while I'm dead, I get theater mode, like I was wishing for.
You're like, all
Right.
right, turn it off. You can unthaw me. I'm good.
Well, but then I come back, and then I'm like, oh shoot, what happens if I die this time? Do I get theater mode again, or
you're like-
was that it? Was that the one time?
You get only one.
You'd be a whole nother then you'd want to live again, and
Yeah.
to experience more. Also, you'd just probably be super smart.
You'd be.
you had theater
I mean,
mode
that
for,
would prove that there's that'd be like wild, like death, then come back, and then you're like, I relived all of history. There's something
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
You'd be.
See, I don't know.
Because that's never happened. No one's ever died and come back
Well,
for a great period of
Yeah.
time. Medically,
Yeah.
someone's
Yeah,
dead when their heart
yep.
stops, but
Yeah.
no one's been dead for a year and then
They came back.
has been revived.
Yeah.
You're talking about that theater mode thing. I think that'd be kind of cool. But I think I'm kind of going over this, while we're talking about this, and I think my idea would be more of like you can meet anyone throughout history and just have conversations with them, or just anyone. So
Yeah.
one I could hang out with you guys. You guys are also dead, but also oh, here's Albert Einstein. Let's have a cool conversation about shit, right?
Yeah.
And just just talk and learn.
Yeah, that would be pretty
Well, see,
cool.
in my theater mode, no one else is there.
Just
it's
you.
it's just me, and I'm not even me.
Yeah.
I just in my mind, I would just be a consciousness.
Yeah.
like
just
like
first
a camera that's
person.
moving
Yeah.
around. Just observing. It's just a one-way street.
It's like the
And
VR chat camera.
Yeah, in my mind, that's the limitations I'm placing on myself.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
make it semi more realistic than anything else. But I don't know. It would be cool to converse with people, but
Just view.
I think in my mind it would just be view.
Yeah. Honestly,
I wanna-
It would be.
I'm all for the Mashoko Tensei route. That's what I want. As long as the world that I get rebirthed
Well,
into
don't
is
get me
okay.
wrong. I'd love that too, but
Oh yeah.
Or just you have a bad life, get reincarnated as a deer in the Mashoko Tensei world. Now that would suck. Yeah. No, that
Yeah.
would not be cool.
Get reincarnated as a snail.
Oh fuck. Be a very good snail. Maybe
or
you'll
a
get.
tree or something.
Yeah.
Something just that doesn't do anything.
Okay. It's kind of fun. I wonder if what that tells us about ourselves, though. Like each of our ideals there.
Hmm.
Sean just wants
Yeah,
to.
I bet someone could do a deep dive on that.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
We could do a deep dive, where we deep dive on our deep dive.
Deep dive. on our deep
Psychoanalyze
dive.
us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leave your psychoanalysis
in
down
the comments. Leave a link to your thesis paper down in
Right?
the comments.
It's
We'll
like
read it and
it's like
review it.
dream analysis. That's what I'm equating it to. Yeah. Another question. I did kind of want to bring this up. This is kind of tangential, but you're talking about limitations, right?
Tangential. Because I wasn't actually making the sign. Tangential.
okay.
It's like,
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
all right, continue.
Is like superpowers. So if you had a superpower, I think there's another cool hypothetical icebreaker question. So you have a superpower. What would it be, and what would be the limitation you put on yourself that's equal to that superpower? It's
a great.
So you gotta have set it. You have to set it. To,
I feel though that most superpowers already have their built-in limitations.
Well,
no, you have to have a weakness that's equal to Superman's cool, right? But a weakness to kryptonite, let's be real, that's not an equal weakness. Kryptonite's kind of rare or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's all around in other movies. I mean, they always have it.
Yeah,
it's
but
weak to aluminum. That would be a good stopping point.
Oh,
That
God.
would suck.
yeah, exactly. No, that's an equal one because you can't be because aluminum's fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, well, I know what mine is because this has been mine since I saw the movie. But you ever seen the movie Chronicle?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that's a really good movie.
What do they have?
That's a really good movie. It's one of the first ones that was that found footage movie. Started the genre for that.
Yeah.
And
movie.
they had telekinesis basically, which I feel like in that movie had its own built-in limitations pretty well.
What was it?
And I liked it that they exercised it like a muscle, right? It's when they started out in that, they were all
Struggling to pick up Legos,
are throwing a tennis ball made their nosebleed, put them into their limit, right? Now and then by the end they're like tossing,
throwing
cars around
like
and shit.
tanks and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
but the limitation being, you have to focus on it. Like if you're not paying attention to something, you can still be killed. Whereas like if you're focusing, you're practically invincible. But if you lose that focus or concentration for a second, then you can be killed.
Oh,
No
like
problem.
when if they're getting like shot at, they can like freeze the
Yeah.
bullets, but if they lose that concentration, they can get shot, kind of thing.
Or
Yeah.
like you have to individually focus on each bullet too, because you can't just focus on, oh, I'm going to protect myself from this wall, right? But you got to focus on, okay, there's a bullet in that gun. I got to make sure that, it's when it's
No,
fired.
I don't think you need to do that. Like
Okay.
in my mind, how they did it was like I would focus. I mean, this is kind of the cool thing about telekinesis is it's basically you're the ring or the Green Lantern. Your
Yeah.
imagination is what
Is what limits you, kind
makes
of.
things happen.
Yeah.
Or like, so for me, if I was being shot at, I would just imagine like either a protective coat of armor around myself, or in the direction of the bullets, some sort of triangle type situation that would just deflect them,
It, yeah.
which would probably be easier than a coat of
full
armor,
coat.
because that would hit and be more impactful than deflecting it. But that's that's just the nature of telekinesis, is you always have a way to think about how to do something.
Could you like I'm really bad. Like I feel like if I was that, I'd have the coat on, right, getting shot at. But then I'd be like, oh crap, what if this coat has a hole in it? And then I get shot because like I imagine it has a hole in it. Would that be a thing? Like I actually can't
Yeah.
do that.
Sure, yeah,
Oh,
that can
man.
happen.
Dude,
That would suck so much. I feel like I'd really F up. Very
I could
easily.
not do that, man. The ADHD would be like, oh, what?
It's like don't imagine
Lose
a hole.
focus
Don't imagine a
immediately.
hole. Don't imagine-
I feel that I would be pretty good at it, and that's why I wanted it as
Yeah.
my power. And then I can fly, because they could fly in that
Yeah.
movie.
So telekinesis
That'd be cool,
is
yeah.
like
My second power though is jumper.
I was gonna say
Oh,
that jumper is a good superpower.
And that's a good one with limitations too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously, you have you jump inside a wall, you're fucking dead. You got to be like, you have to be
Yeah.
imagine the thing really well. It's like what was it what's the guy's name from X-Men? It's
What's his power?
it's teleporter. Same thing.
The Nighthawk.
No.
No.
Teleport.
Night Stalker?
Yeah, it was like the blue
Night
guy,
Stalker
right?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Night Stalker.
it was like Night
Night-
Stalker or something like that.
I forget his name. Yeah.
All right.
Um
I'm gonna look it up. Keep going.
yeah, please. Yeah. So like, but you have to like truly visualize the area you're in. You can't just be like, oh, I want to teleport here. You have to like really focus on it. Really like imagine every detail of it, right?
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. Yeah.
And yeah,
For reference, I googled blue guy in X-Men, and the first thing that came up was Beast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
Nightcrawler
oh,
second.
not quite. Not quite.
yeah. But I don't know, that'd be cool.
I-
What about you, Colton?
I think honestly, I would go with like keeping on the theme of X-Men characters. I'd just go Wolverine, like really fast healing, self-regenerative abilities, live on for a long, long time. I'd be down for that.
But what would be your weakness that keeps it balanced essentially?
The depression that I lose everyone as I as I get
Yeah.
older.
Well, the balance is
Suffering.
he could still be killed. I mean, the only reason he couldn't be killed
Oh,
eventually
was because of the adamantium.
was the adamantium. But
Yeah.
if like he was still just regular, then he would be.
If I got my head chopped off,
mortal.
then I'd be dead. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
But
sure.
I don't think that's a good enough weakness. There's got to be a really good
Yeah.
I
weakness.
mean, it's a great weakness.
Yeah, I mean it's
But that normal people can still be killed too, just like by a really bad stab wound.
Hence why it's a good weakness. I mean, like he could still die.
I could just still die. Yeah, I don't know. I've always thought the jumper thing was really, really good. Flying would be great. But like, what's a weakness to that? What's a weakness to flying? If you could fly, what's the weakness? I mean, it's like if you don't slow down, you're gonna break your legs. Like you're still human, kind of thing.
Time limit? I don't know.
Time limit.
See, now that's actually a good one. Where like, oh, if you lose concentration, you're gonna start falling and like,
Yeah.
fuck, right? And obviously you can just time limit, good one.
I would be Gojo. Like just he has like the power to control physics in Jujutsu Kaisen. Like that's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
a
okay.
superpower.
That's pretty broken though.
That is pretty bro. I don't know if he has like a
He is
weakness either.
broken.
I don't think he does.
Well, what's yours here?
His
Michael?
weakness
We'll
is
see
he's
if it has
too
good enough
cool.
Yeah.
weakness.
Me.
Yeah.
Let's see. The one I think the coolest one I thought about, because I asked this question to a couple people, is I can take the superpower copy any superpower out there.
This assumes there's other superpowers, but continue.
No, from anything like comic books, manga, anything
Oh,
like
okay.
that.
All right.
God.
So pretty broken.
That is
How are you going to come up with a good enough weakness?
Yeah.
But I can only reference it. I can reference it. I have to reference the thing actively, like say like something. Like if I'm going to do JoJo's, I have to like say like the stand name, whatever, right? I activate it. I can only use it once though.
But can't you just...
And so I have to basically keep this constant list of references in my head and like know what superpower goes with what, but also can't.
But
I don't think that's a good enough weakness.
Well, I mean,
you don't think so?
You could also just be like, I want to be...
Because then you inherit the broken, quote, to your point, you inherit the broken weaknesses that everyone else has, these referencing characters, you know?
Or just...
So let's say you reference Superman. There is no kryptonite.
Yeah,
therefore,
doesn't exist.
you have a broken superpower again.
Yeah, but okay, I guess I gotta set a time
Maybe
limit.
time limit,
I can only use it for a minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute
that's
would be
now.
really hard. Honestly, if there's a threat and you only have a minute and you have to keep thinking of superpowers, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's
So I-
intense.
that's
That's
tough.
good. That's
I have
good.
to like constantly switch between them and like
And then
obviously-
never again.
And
That's
also
good.
I have to remember I have to use the weakness. So like say if like my mouth, like someone's covering my mouth, right? I can't talk. I can't use a reference that requires someone to
Oh, so you just say it?
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Well, I don't have to
That's
say
good.
it, but I have to just do the reference. So like I'd have to like I don't know what's like I'd have to do like the Superman pose, but if my arms are disabled or whatever, I can't do the Superman pose or something like that. Well, I can't use Superman's powers. And also,
that's
obviously
true.
I can only use it once. So I have to like keep this. It also puts a limitation on like how many
So then it's like, okay,
times I can
when
use
do
it.
I use Superman? Like,
Yeah.
what-
exactly
yeah, I got-
exactly
What
right.
threat
And so
is
you like
good enough?
like for like the normal things like the you gotta help someone out, right? Day to day you don't use your powers that much, but like because obviously you have a very strong limitation. But also the cool thing is you could create your own by like you have to like write something down and like publish it and all that shit.
Well, the
And
real
so-
question is, when do you use Saitama?
Yeah.
Oh, exactly right. You keep Goku, Saitama,
Oh
Superman.
my God. You could do any DBZ
Dio's
character.
the world.
Just write down all the
and-
DBZ characters for big
exactly
events.
right, and just like keep them in your back.
The
pocket.
goal of all life is death. For Overlord. What
Oh,
if?
oh,
okay,
geez, yeah.
Here's the thing: with your power, in theory, what's how does it become a reference? So let's say you hire just a writer,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I need a new power that does this. Write a book about
Yeah.
it.
Write a book about
Well,
it.
Or
you
a
have to go
short
through-
story.
You have to go through
Like-
the entire process, and then it has to get popular. Or I don't know. It doesn't have
Like
to
a
be popular,
public-
but it just has to be published.
maybe your powers-
I think published.
Your power's more
Like, truly
effective.
published.
Okay,
The-
so then,
like a official thing.
so then all you need to do is hire a newspaper cartoonist. All right, and every day you can have a new
geez,
superpower.
That's actually really good. But can I remember all those? I mean, I'm
That's-
just using
that's the
human
thing.
memory, right? So, like,
You
I
just,
gotta
you just have to get today's paper. All
right,
yeah,
what's,
yeah.
what's
keep
my
it in your
power?
back pocket. You have the back pocket newspaper, and so you have like certain ones written down, and you're like, okay, here's the new one. But yeah, so you have to like limit that, and
This would be a good movie.
Yeah.
It would
The-
be right.
the good-
It'd be fun though, like
The good fault.
because it's really challenging. to,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
keep thinking of that.
The good fault of that one would be the power is more effective if it's more like popular within people. Like if people don't know about it, you can't
Oh,
activate
that's
the power.
true.
Oh,
so you
that's
have
a
to get like
good
good at
limitation,
putting
too.
it on the internet and stuff. You have to build a whole platform.
So like you could be a Jedi, but like very powerful because everyone knows
Right.
it. But you couldn't be say
right. Saitama
you
might
wouldn't
not
be a very good Gojo because not as many people know that.
Yeah.
Or I would be
Like Saitama might not be as powerful as Goku because Goku is way more well known in this instance.
That's true.
Yeah.
Then we could settle the debate who would win.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You could do that with yourself because you could actually like pull
Yeah,
it,
like punch yourself in
reference
the
it.
face
You only get a
on-
minute to do the test.
Yeah.
But still. Oh, maybe give that limitation, but then do like 5 minutes or something like that. Because I feel like the time limitation is a big one. Because like there'd be some abilities that would be like, okay, that you can use this once, right? Like I could use. Well, also the question would be, could I use like say I could use Saitama's like serious punch once and never again, but I could use like his like consecutive normal punches again. Can I use specific
So
named
each power
abilities,
is a different thing.
or is
Yeah.
it just one person? Because like that, because that would change the limitations on that as well.
That's true.
I actually think
No.
that to close this out, maybe the power that the one guy in Jujutsu Kaisen has, the one that he can like say something and it happens. You know what I'm talking about, Sean?
Yeah.
He could say "Don't move" and no one can move. I think that would be a cool power. The consequence would be like you like gouge up your vocal
Well, that's
cords.
a serious limitation he has.
Yeah,
too.
he can only use it like 3 times before he's like incapacitated for the most part.
Well, also he can't just talk normally. He has to like, use like these random
I'm not
words.
super into the fact you just can't talk normally. That would suck a lot.
It reminds me of there's like one Marvel character I remember, or I think it's Marvel. Yeah, where it's like fuck, I forget his name. Yeah, but same thing. Like not so much he commands people, but like his voice is so loud that he cannot speak normally. But when he does speak, it's like a sonic.
Oh, like the Screech guy.
Really, I've never heard of this person.
Yeah, I think it was like I forget which. It was an Inhuman, I think, if I recall. But yeah, yeah. So that'd be a really cool superpower too. Yeah. See, for me, I like just the thought process of, okay, you create the power, right? And you can make this really OP power, but in like the same concept of Hunter x Hunter, where like Nen, you have to like balance it out, right?
Yeah.
You got to find like the limitation that is added, and I think that limitation is actually the cooler aspect. That's why I like asking people this question, because it makes people think about, okay, you have to have a limitation there, right?
Yeah.
And like, what limits do you want to put on yourself? Also, like, what superpower do you want too? So,
Yeah. Dang. What a good
thanks.
question. I'm very excited for next week because I've figured out what I want to talk about.
Oh yeah.
And there's these like, I've had these list of questions for like years.
It's the question podcast.
Probably more than a decade. And they're like designed to like make you to learn about people.
Oh yeah.
So I want to see how you guys answer
Like
them.
personality quiz. Okay.
Yeah, but it
kinda
kind
is.
of personality questions.
I think
I'm
it's
kind of curious.
I like those questions because it makes people not so much about personality, but how people think about the world, and their how they view it, right?
Yeah.
Like you kind of infer some things, and it allows you to see into someone else's mind, right? Because normally, like day to day, we can't. Obviously, we can never truly.
You don't just have a deep conversation. You don't walk up someone on the side of the street and go, "Hey, what's your superpower?"
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, what superpower do you have?
I use that as an icebreaker on occasion, yeah. But yeah, I think it's just a really cool experience to like peer into someone else's mind and try to understand their point of view and how they interact with the universe.
It sounds like you want your superpower to be what Professor X had. Be a telepath.
No, because that's boring. Reading people's minds is so fucking boring. Are you kidding?
That would be like.
Well,
and also, it'd be like Code
what if
Geass,
there's a
where it's
limitation
like
to it now, Michael?
Everyone's like,
I
everyone's
would
like
love
screaming at you.
Lelouch's-
God,
I would love Lelouch's
What if you have to
power.
like hack into their mind, like different levels?
Oh no, I'd hate that,
Bro, I want to.
I feel like that'd be manipulative too. Like you could because reading people's minds, I think it's like if everyone thought the same, right? It's just so boring.
Lelouch's power would be great. Command anyone to do anything once.
Having a Geass.
Having a Geass. Having Lelouch's Geass specifically. Some of the other ones are good too, like having the one where you can see.
Well, we don't want to talk about it too much just in case we spoil that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Lelouch's would be cool.
But I know what he's talking about, and that'd be really cool.
Yeah. It'd be
Can
super
only do it once. That's actually a pretty good limitation.
For his Geass, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean, you can also fuck up a lot of things, right? Because
Yeah, he fucked up.
Think about when he activates it.
I mean,
Yeah. He does.
you
He
know.
does run into some issues throughout the story.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think that was a good combo, man. Thank you.
I liked it.
This was a good idea, Michael.
Yeah, I like these deep conversations. We'll get deeper and deeper. Maybe next week, Sean, with your stuff. Are they deep questions or are they like
So
just-
deep.
They can be.
Okay.
Depends on how you want to go.
What is your opinion of the meaning of life?
Yeah.
What is your answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is your answer to life, the universe, and
Yeah.
everything? Yeah.
I mean, we got some pretty deep stuff this episode.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. Yeah. I like these combos. I just like how they also just rattle off of whatever, right? Like, we kind of try to set this one up this episode, but obviously, the last episode, it just spiraled,
into that. Yeah.
And I did totally 100% call it where we spiraled. We went from this deep combo to something like Disney as you. We just spiraled off on a random ass tangent.
It happens. It happens.
Well, I mean, that's just natural.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think.
natural for everyone. All right, guys. Well, I mean, we've hit almost the 2-hour mark here, so we better wrap it up.
Okay.
But,
All right.
all right, cool. Yeah. So this has been almost a podcast, and thanks for watching. And follow, like, subscribe. We're now on YouTube. Sean's been posting those YouTube videos, so
Yep.
subscribe on there.
Follow our stream.
And,
You can actually comment now.
Streams on Thursdays sometimes, except last time I did cancel on the boys. So streams on Thursdays.
Stream sometimes if we feel like it.
Streams
Exactly,
on
yeah.
Thursdays, 8 o'clock EST or something like that, 8:30 EST usually.
But they will be on YouTube as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So come chat with us while we play games.
Yeah, absolutely. And as always, one day we'll get there. Thanks for watching.
One day.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.
You ruined it.
I did.